Hey everyone, welcome back to Baila Travel. I'm Jenny and this is Kevin, and in today's vlog we're going to be talking about some culture shocks that we've experienced as Mexican Americans in Mexico. We've been here for 11 months now, going on 12, and we grew up in the Chicago area. So to give you a little bit of context, we grew up in Chicago in a predominantly Mexican neighborhood, and so we grew up with very Mexican households, traditions, with the language, but there are still a few cultural things that we've experienced in Mexico that are a little strange to us since we grew up in Chicago. So here we go. We're going to share our top 5 culture shocks with you.
Number 1, the consumption of refresco, soda, Coca-Cola, Sprite, whatever you want to call it, is our very first culture shock in Mexico.
We were really surprised to see how much soda people drink here, and we had read the statistic that Mexico is the leading consumer of Coca-Cola in the world, which is impressive. I'm surprised that it even beat out the United States.
It's sad too. It's sad because we've seen people consume Coca-Cola for breakfast, for lunch, for dinner, and it's a culture shock for us and for them because we don't consume any refreshment.
People we've met, and family included, have said that we're not strange, but I think they think we're strange for not drinking. We don't drink soda really.
Ever. Unless it's in a paloma or some sort of drink.
Unless there's alcohol in it. But I'll never reach for a Coke. I'll never really reach for a soda. But here, the amount of sugary drinks that are served is insane. Like, there are lots of meals when you go out to eat for lunch that have a beverage already included, and they always offer a Coke or some sort of sugary soda. And we always ask for the water bottle because it's pretty much all.
It's just us.
Yeah, that's all we do.
And it's become a big problem. Chiapas, San Cristobal de las Casas is the leading consumer of Coca-Cola in the entire world. The city consumes more Coca-Cola than anybody else in the world, and it's leading to some serious health issues. But yeah, it's just a personal choice of us that we don't like to consume Coca-Cola, and it's been a culture shock mostly because when we visited family, we go out to eat and then it's like, wait, you're not gonna have a Coca-Cola? Like, how do you even burp? Like, what do you mean, how do we burp? Like, yeah, like, how do you burp after you eat? And it's like, well,
the Coke is essential.
And I was like, how do people before Coca-Cola burp, right? It's just, but yeah, that's one of the culture shocks.
Culture shock number 2 is the use of plastic. The use of plastic varies throughout Mexico, and we were impressed to see that many grocery stores no longer get plastic, and that's definitely a trend in the United States as well.
It's pretty awesome, actually. You go to places and they look at you like, sorry, we don't give out plastic. We haven't been doing it for like 6-7 years.
You're supposed to bring, they've been doing it for a while. You're supposed to bring your reusable bag. So that's one cool thing. But on the other hand, we've noticed that street food vendors use a lot of plastic.
Sometimes even restaurants. One of my biggest pet peeves of the plastic consumption here in Mexico is when you go to a restaurant and they give you a plate, and on the plate they put a plastic bag so that they put the food on top of the plastic bag and they don't have to wash the plate.
They just remove the plastic and put another plastic over it. That is super, super common out here. And you know, while the grocery store thing is good, the street vendor plastic use is not so good. And I guess it's understandable because if they're selling food from a street stand, they may not have access to a place to wash their dishes right then and there. So, I mean, it's understandable, but also a little backwards when grocery stores are reducing their consumption way down of plastic, and street vendors are kind of the opposite. So it's just a little strange to us.
There might be something behind it that we might not know. Maybe there's restaurants that don't have access to water, or maybe just to wash. Maybe just the bills to pay water are really expensive, that it's so much easier to just use plastic, which is understandable. But
we're just speculating.
Yeah,
we don't really know. It's just an observation.
Number 3, access to seasonal foods and meal times.
Here's the thing. In Chicago, we had access to just about any grocery item we wanted year-round. Strawberries year-round, mangoes year-round. Granted, they might not be as fresh if it's not in season, and they might be more expensive, but they're there and they're accessible. in Mexico, food runs much more on a seasonal basis. So if it's mango season, you're gonna have some amazing mangoes. If it's not mango season, you may not be able to find one pretty much anywhere because food doesn't travel very far. And I actually kind of appreciate that about here because the less food has to travel to get to you, the fresher it is, the better for you it is. So this is not like a pro or a con in any way, it's just different.
The only seasonal foods that we get back in Chicago are Girl Scout cookies and pumpkin spice lattes. But speaking to freshness of foods, another example is seafood. Seafood in the coastal areas, you normally consume seafood in the morning and for lunch.
They don't usually sell seafood past the afternoons.
No, because what they say is that the fishermen go out to get fresh seafood caught on that day and they sell it to you that day.
Yeah, but when it runs out, it runs out. Whereas in Chicago, because our seafood was traveling pretty far, we could go out for dinner and have seafood at dinner, and that's not the case here.
Well, in certain cities, metropolitan cities like Monterrey, Querétaro, Ciudad de Mexico, you can find seafood at night as well, but it's the same. You're not gonna get the freshest seafood at night or just in general as other coastal towns or tropical Caribbean areas.
Mm-hmm. So another part to this culture shock, it also includes the meal times.
Yeah.
So in the US, we're used to having dinner be the largest meal of the day. And in Mexico, the largest meal of the day is lunch, or la comida del día, as they call it, usually between 2 and 4 p.m. But as I'm working remotely full time, it's difficult for me to go out for lunch whenever we don't have access to a kitchen to cook. We would have to go out and find food. So depending on the day and where we were, sometimes I was able to go out for lunch and come back within the lunch hour, but there are other times where I couldn't, wrap up my day until 5 o'clock, and if I haven't had lunch yet, it's gonna be really tough to find lunch or big meals after 5 o'clock because that's not a meal time, and then they're getting ready for dinner later around 7 or 8. So for my kind of schedule, because I'm used to having a 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock lunch in the US, and people's lunch in Mexico are from 2 to 4, that kind of made things a little challenging for meal times. But I like eating the big meal in the middle of the day. I feel more energetic, I feel like it's healthier, and it's something that I want to get used to. I think we're starting to, but we still got some.
And it's serious, like La Comida del Día is serious too, so serious that they have children go to school earlier.
Yeah, kids are out by 2.
Like high school children start school like at 6:30.
7 a.m.
7 a.m. and then the other children also start at 7:30, and they're out by 2, 3 o'clock.
For lunch at home.
For lunch at home, so La Comida del Día is some serious stuff.
Culture shock number 4 is the difference in experience of going to the doctor. I'm impressed by the number of pharmacies that have consultorios médicos, which is medical consult offices, meaning there's a doctor's office right next to or right inside the pharmacy. Mm-hmm. You've got farmacias similares or just a bunch of different kinds of brands of pharmacies that will have their doctor on site, so that if you need advice on a medication or you just need to see a doctor, you can go right then and there at the pharmacy. I know that Walgreens has been doing that for some years now, but I'm impressed by how easily accessible it is. You don't need to make an appointment. You just walk right in. If there's someone in there, then you wait. There might be a short line, but I've never waited more than a few people in front of me. It's usually very affordable. I've paid 45 or 50 pesos to see a doctor, and they spent way more than 5 minutes with me. And I just say that that hasn't been my experience with every doctor in the US. I've had some wonderful doctors in the US, but the culture, I feel like the systemic culture in the US is in and out. See as many patients as possible in a day, and doctors, it's very common for them to spend less than 5 minutes with their patients so they can get to the next one. And I think that's just like a cultural systemic thing in the US, whereas in Mexico, and every doctor I've been in, I think it's been at least a 30-minute visit, and it's super holistic, super personalized treatment, and very personal relationship. I have the WhatsApp phone number for every single doctor I've seen here in Mexico.
We've seen a ton.
We've seen a ton for many different reasons, which we'll tell you about shortly. But it's always been such a smooth process. I've always been so grateful to have access to a doctor and medicine pretty much anywhere. And of course, we're very lucky to be able to afford it. But it's been great quality treatment all around.
And another thing for me is that there's some cities that have a ton of pharmacies, like 2 or 3 pharmacies on the same block. That's you have so many options, and you can shop around for your medicine so you can get it for cheaper.
While we've mostly visited the consultorios médicos at the pharmacies, we've also gone to see specialists at hospitals. I think we paid like 500 pesos for specialists. They tend to range. So we've seen doctors related to urology issues, related to musculoskeletal issues. I've been to the dentist. So we've had a variety of experiences with the healthcare system here, and I've had nothing but very good experiences.
But most recently we went to a doctor for Moctezuma's revenge. Do you know who Moctezuma is?
Do you know what his revenge is about?
Do you know why he's mad? Got that.
Check out our upcoming video on Moctezuma's revenge, where we talk about very common ailments that happens to foreigners, as well as how to go to the doctor when that happens to you.
At number 5, the Mexican blue-collar working class works a ton. We thought we worked a lot in the United States, but as we've traveled and met a lot of people who work for big companies, foreign companies from the US, from Europe, we've learned that they work a ton.
We met people who work 6 days a week, 8 to 12-hour shifts, and the pay is not always that great. There aren't as many protections as there are in the US. So if we thought people were overworked in the US and poorly compensated, well, it's probably worse in Mexico.
What's crazy too is that people attend universities and get a college degree. It's very similar to the United States. You're not guaranteed that with a college degree you're gonna have a good salary. Mm-hmm. So some people have to hustle and work a lot, if that means working weekends in tourism or working in restaurants.
But even then, we've met people who've worked both in the US and in Mexico and decided to live here. And these are Mexicans I'm talking about. They've said that they still prefer life in Mexico because it feels like there's a little bit more time for everything. Even if you are working a lot, there's that slower paced lifestyle that they still appreciate and that we're hoping we can enjoy too.
So those are our 5 culture shocks of our 11-month experience in Mexico. Let us know what you think in the comments down below.
Let us know if there are any culture shocks that you've experienced that we didn't talk about, or if you can relate to any of the ones we talked about. I'm sure there will be many more. This is only our first year living in Mexico, the first of many, I hope. So thanks again for watching. We'll see you at the next one. Se cuidan, se bañan y nos vemos a la próxima.
Ciao.
Ciao.